Hello everyone and welcome back to another vegan and gluten-free recipe episode on this channel, and happy Memorial Day to my American viewers. I hope you're enjoying the 3-day weekend and the unofficial kickoff to summer. To celebrate the holiday, I'm making this batch of delicious sloppy joes. They're a classic at Memorial Day grill outs and barbecues. I grew up eating them. I love sloppy joes, but I haven't had them in ages, so I figured this was the perfect occasion to make them once again. There's 14 ingredients going into the sloppy joes. Let's go through each of them one by one super quickly. First up, we have 1 cup of rinsed brown lentils, 2 cups of vegetable broth, 1/2 of a yellow onion diced into little pieces. I sliced the other half of the same yellow onion into these onion rings. These will go on to the sloppy joe sandwiches at the very end. 4 chopped cloves of garlic, 1 chopped jalapeno pepper for a little heat in the sloppy joes. Definitely leave this out if you don't like spicy food. This is actually a customization that I made to the recipe. 1 15-ounce can of tomato sauce, 2 tablespoons of vegan steak sauce, 2 teaspoons of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, a pinch of paprika, some salt and pepper to taste, 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, and finally these cute little vegan and gluten-free dinner rolls. There's 6 steps to this recipe, which I've linked down in the description box for you to check out if you'd like to make these sloppy joes yourself. The recipe comes courtesy of truly one of the MVPs of my vegan life, the minimalist baker. I've made a few modifications based on my own taste preferences, but for the most part, I'm sticking very closely to the recipe. For step number 1, I'll take the 1 cup of rinsed brown lentils and cook them in the 2 cups of soup broth in a little saucepan on my stovetop for about 20 minutes. While the lentils are cooking away, I'll move on to step 2, which is to saute the chopped onion, the chopped garlic cloves, and the jalapeno pepper in the 2 tablespoons of olive oil in a separate saucepan on my stovetop for about 5 minutes. And toward the end of the sauteing, I'll sprinkle in the salt and pepper as well. Step number 3 is super easy. All I have to do is take the can of tomato sauce, the 2 tablespoons of vegan steak sauce, and then these spices over here I showed you, the chili powder, the cumin, and the paprika, and I'll throw those all into the saucepan with the sauteed veggies. For step number 4, I'll take the lentils once they're all done cooking in the soup broth, and I'll put those into the saucepan as well and mix everything together. And that, of course, will form the filling of the sloppy joe sandwiches. While the sloppy joe filling is cooking away on my stovetop for about 10 minutes, I'll move on to step 5, which is to take these little dinner rolls, which serve as the sloppy joe buns, and I'll toast them in my oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 5 minutes. And then for step number 6, which is the most fun step, I'll assemble the sloppy joes right here at my countertop. I'll show you the final product, dig in, and let you know what I think. Those are all the recipe steps, so let's get started making these sloppy joe sandwiches. I'm gonna bring you over to my stovetop where I'll begin by cooking the brown lentils in the soup broth. Drum roll, please. The sloppy joe filling is all set, all done, and the toasted buns are here. They're looking nice and golden brown, so all that's left for me to do is to assemble these sloppy joes. Before I do that though, I'll give you a close-up of both items right here. I'll start with the filling. I really liked that you could see the lentils in the filling. You can also see some of the jalapeno peppers chopped up and the onions. This really has a nice tangy barbecue smell to it. It really is like cookout material. Now for the toasted little dinner rolls slash sloppy joe buns. All I did for these was drizzle a tiny bit of olive oil on top of each one and just spread it out a little bit with my finger. And then, as I told you earlier, I toasted them for a few minutes in my oven. So these got a nice toasty exterior in the oven, but the inside is still very doughy and fluffy and soft. All right, I think I'm just gonna start with one, although I could definitely eat 4. Let's try to not make too much of a mess here, although that seems to happen in pretty much every episode I make. Oh my gosh, I'm making such a mess. I apologize. Let's just grab a couple of these little onion rings and see if I can just kind of tuck them in here. Okay, I'm actually loving how this looks. Not gonna lie, I love the messy aspect of it. It's not neat and tidy. That's pretty much the whole point of this. So there you go. It looks like a nice toasty stuffed sandwich. So I'm gonna dig in and tell you what it tastes like. This is gonna be quite a mess, but whatever. Those dinner rolls are really good. I wouldn't have thought to add the raw onion rings to a sloppy joe. That's not usually how I would eat them growing up, but I really do like the crunch and the bite of the raw onion flavor with the filling. The flavors that really jump out at me are the tang from the vegan steak sauce as well as the tomato sauce, both of which just bring together everything in the filling recipe so nicely. Don't mind me, I'm just gonna grab a little more filling. It's just getting sloppier and sloppier. That's the name of the game. That's everything for this vegan and gluten-free sloppy joe recipe episode. And man, can I tell you, this was so fun to make. I hope you enjoyed it, perhaps learned something new or were entertained. And please let me know what you thought of the recipe if you decide to try this out. I welcome any and all recipe suggestions that you have for me. I love to hear your ideas. I keep a running list, and it's really helpful for me to know that I'm making content that reflects what you would like to see. Once again, happy Memorial Day to all of you in the States. I hope you close out this 3-day weekend with some delicious food and perhaps some of these vegan and gluten-free sloppy joes. Take care, everybody. Eat well, and I will see you in the next episode on this channel. Bye!